And we're going to speak with Marc Ganis. He is a sports business expert and president and co-founder of Sportscorp Limited. Thank you so much for being with us.
Pleasure.
We got to talk about this. This is really interesting. Governor J.B. Pritzker coming out with a message for the Chicago Bears. Let's talk about what that message is and what the governor is demanding.
Well,
go ahead.
so for me, it looked like the governor in Spring Chicago business seems to be saying that he wants the Bears to pay off or arrange to pay off the debt on Soldier Field for the renovations of Soldier Field that have been refinanced by the city as a condition of the state talking about assisting with infrastructure and property tax relief or caps for the Bears to move to Arlington Heights, which is a creative approach on the part of the governor. I've never heard of this before, but it seems it's kind of like a renter renting a house for 30 years, and then when you leave, the homeowner says, "Oh, by the way, pay off my mortgage as part of you stopping to rent my house, and oh, by the way, I refinanced it a couple of times while you were renting it from me." It seems a very I've never heard of anything like this before in the sports industry. It seems like a very strange request for the governor to make.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how unusual is this, and what kind of money are we talking about?
Well, they're at this stage, there are about $400 million of bonds outstanding, but you should know that the way the deal was originally crafted, there should have been virtually no bonds remaining at the end of the Bears lease term. It was supposed to be self-amortizing over the course of the term. And remember that the Bears payments were not what was paying off the bonds. It was the 2% hotel motel tax in Cook County that were in the downtown area that were paying off the bonds. And so there was no connection between the Bears lease payments or money coming in from Soldier Field to pay off these Illinois sports facility bonds. So for the governor to now make a connection between the Bears to somehow be obligated to pay these bonds off when there was never any connection between the two, even from the first day that the deal was done, seems a little bit odd, and certainly unprecedented.
But timely, right? I think this is a move, because the Bears have basically come out and said that they are going to Arlington Heights and planning to move ahead with that. Do you think what the governor has put on the table now limits the Bears from being able to go to Arlington Heights?
No, and as a matter of fact, I've got to tell you, if the politicians don't start acting a little more reasonable and realistic, they may find that the Bears start looking elsewhere. I mean, they could look outside of Cook County. They could look outside of the state of Illinois and look at Northwest Indiana. And then they're going to say, wow, what just happened here? How could the Bears leave us? It wouldn't be that the Bears left you. It's that you forced them out by these, frankly, ludicrous demands.
So, given what you just said there, what do you think the governor's position should be at this point in time?
Look, the governor's position should be what the Bears have said, that they will pay the entirety of the stadium. That is a great starting point. All that they've asked for is property tax certainty and for infrastructure improvements. Infrastructure improvements are the kinds of things that any business that's going to invest $3 billion in the state would be reasonably requested by the state. And I think the governor has said something to that effect already. The property tax caps, the reality is, there's no stadium in the country that has ever resulted in a single additional student going to school. So it doesn't increase any school costs. It doesn't increase pretty much any other costs. But they're saying they will pay more money than Arlington Park ever paid in property taxes. Work out a deal on the property tax cap. Just work it out. And negotiate it. If you want to negotiate aggressively, negotiate it aggressively. But have there be some certainty associated with it. And the Bears have said they'll pay for the whole stadium themselves. That would be an incredible deal for the state and for Cook County, which will continue to get all of the amusement tax and all the other taxes that are being created. And Chicago will get most of the hotel and restaurant money for the events that would wind up going, the major events that will wind up going out to Arlington Heights. And then the other part of this is, what do you do with Soldier Field? There are so many opportunities to create something very special at Soldier Field. Take all that asphalt in the parking lots, make it into green grass, make this the greatest festival area any major city has ever had, extend it all the way out to Northerly Island. Don't tear down Soldier Field. Keep it for summer concerts. Make a lot of money off of it. Keep the suites, the scoreboards, the advertising, and the suites, and have the city take all the revenue from those things. And then take the money from the Bears that for terminating the lease early. And then you create something very special that no other major city in the country has. It becomes a win-win for everyone, but there's a parochial feeling going on here that is very odd. As somebody who's worked on 24 successful sports facility projects, this is a very strange situation. The city was given every opportunity to come up with a plan that could keep the Bears in Chicago. They did not. Okay. Well, then the Bears have an alternative, staying within Cook County. And somehow there's a feeling that they need to be held up in some manner. It's a very strange thing. I've never seen this before, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it is a very strange scenario. What do you think should be happening now? The Bears have made it clear that they plan to build, it sounds like, over in Arlington Heights. Fine. What do you think should be happening now, I guess, with our political leaders to ensure that at least what's going on over at Soldier Field is productive in the future, like you mentioned, making it a world-class concert venue?
Yeah, well, that should be where the focus is. If the Bears have said they're going to go to Arlington Heights and pay for their own stadium and operating their own stadium, wonderful. That's a multi-billion-dollar investment in the state of Illinois by a private entity. Then focus on what can be done very cost effectively for not just Soldier Field, but that entire museum campus area going all the way out to Northerly Island. Returning that area to what the Friends of the Park have talked about, which is this whole, the lakefront protection ordinance. Make that whole area open for the people of Chicago to be able to use all year round, especially during the spring and summer. And now, as we just heard, this beautiful early fall, September type time frame. And so that it becomes something that we could all use and enjoy without spending huge amounts of money. There's really a great opportunity to do something very special. But instead, they're focused on this, this almost this intramural fight that just seems very foolish as somebody who works on these things all around the country. There should be a much better way to handle this, especially now that you've got, for example, the Chicago Fire saying that they're going to build their own soccer stadium on the 78. The city and the state are going to have to figure out what they're going to do with the White Sox, whose lease expires in 2030 as well. So there are lots of other things that need to get done. And instead, they've got this food fight going on with the Bears who are saying they're going to invest $3 billion in Cook County and keep the team right here in Cook County.
Let me ask you something. With all of what's going on, all these different pieces at play, it basically sounds like a lot of people don't really have their eyes particularly on the prize. If action doesn't happen soon to kind of figure out what's going to happen with Soldier Field, what does that mean for the city of Chicago? If we wait, if the wait continues to figure out what happens there?
Oh, a number of things. What the state should not want to have happen, what Cook County should not want to have happen, is that because of the delays, the Bears open the door to what other options may be available, whether that be Lake County, Will County, whether that be Northwest Indiana, where the state recently passed legislation for a sports authority for Northwest Indiana, and I think to try and target getting the Bears and or the White Sox. So there may be great offers provided that right now the Bears are not looking at, but if they're forced to open the door, some offers may come in that they wind up taking. And that could be really bad for Cook County, conceivably really bad for the state of Illinois.
Marc Ganis, you know your stuff, okay? So we can't refute that. Let me ask you this. When you look at major league sports that have maybe started in a major city and decided to kind of go to the outskirts, or even a stadium in a city that decided to kind of move to another part of town, what teams do you think of?
Well, in the NFL, most of the teams have their stadiums outside of town. The Dallas Cowboys play in a stadium in Arlington. The New England Patriots play in Foxborough. The Buffalo Bills play in Orchard Park. The New York Jets and the New York Giants play in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Los Angeles Rams and Los Angeles Chargers play in Irwindale. The San Francisco Giants play in Santa Clara. Are you starting to get the picture? Almost all NFL teams play in a suburban location, and it works out very well for everyone involved, because the major events that will then take place, the national and international events, the urban core, the city itself is the primary beneficiary for hotel room usage, for restaurants, for the cultural events that take place, and it still gets the top billing because it is, the Dallas Cowboys, it is the San Francisco Giants, it is the New York Jets and the New York Giants, it is the Buffalo Bills. So those are lots of examples that I've just given you of if you think about it, most of the teams in the NFL play in a suburban location. Some play in the city itself, but a lot of them play in suburban locations. It works just fine, and it works just fine for everyone involved. And if the Bears do go into the suburban location, as they've said, this is a lot of taxpayer savings for the city, for the county, for the state, versus what the cost would have been to build a stadium along the lakefront. And it then also provides revenue opportunities for the city and the park district by use of Soldier Field and this big festival area, if that's what they choose to do. And it provides a lot of other uses for that area by the residents of Chicago to use on a year-round basis, connecting Northerly Island, connecting the museum campus and Soldier Field, all with a contiguous, beautiful festival area. So there's a lot to be said for helping the Bears go to Arlington Heights, rather than trying to force some sort of, squeezing them, shoehorning them into an area that they really shouldn't be in.
Yeah, some of those stadiums that you mentioned, I've had the pleasure to go to. And the first thing I think of when I think of a stadium that is outside of the city confines, I think of space, which is a very good point. Some of those stadiums that you mentioned, there's a lot of space when you're talking about, traffic getting in and out of town and those things. Marc Ganis, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Anytime.